Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars review. So today we're going to be looking at set number 75387, Boarding the Tantive IV, or Tantive IV, whatever you want to call it. This set includes 502 pieces, retailing for $54.99 when it released on March 1st of 2024. Now this is one of the first two sets to celebrate 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. It includes one brand new and exclusive minifigure for the very first time, ARC Trooper 5s. There's been a lot of talk about this minifigure. People love him, people hate him. I'll say my 2 cents on the figure once we get around to him, but just for the price of the set, almost $60, getting 7 minifigures, this is something that we don't see every day from LEGO Star Wars, and I absolutely love that that's something that they were able to do in this particular situation, despite the fact that it is just kind of weird that they're just throwing a clone trooper in an original trilogy set. That's really the only thing that I have to say about these 25th anniversary sets, that is just weird where they're placing these exclusive minifigures. Now, talking about the box art, because it is the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, we get that specialized logo, as well as this more silvery blue greebling, which I think is a really interesting color scheme for LEGO Star Wars. I definitely prefer the box art that they had for the 20th anniversary, just because that felt more nostalgic and more celebratory for 20 years of LEGO Star Wars. I really wish that they did something similar to those logos that they had back in the day. That would have been really cool, especially for Phantom Menace. Spinning to the back side, we see our minifigures interacting, as well as some of the play features that you can interact with this hallway. Really excited to build this one. This is a set that I wasn't planning on getting on release, though really what pushed me is just the amount of minifigures that you get for the price of this thing. It's not something you see every day from LEGO Star Wars, and I felt I needed to buy it at retail for that reason, that this is just such a good deal. Within the box, we get a total of 5 numbered bags, as well as your sticker sheet and instruction manual. Sticker sheet, all of these will go in the hallway build. Instructions, ugly render from the front. Interesting that they include this minifigure off to the side. It just feels so out of place in my opinion, having a clone in an original trilogy set. Wind robot from the backside. Piece count, 2 pages. Quick advertisement for 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. This I think looks really cool. Love the background right there, sort of like an Endor background. They also advertise that you can buy more than one of these to combine them to make a full-on hallway scene, which I think it's interesting that they show it like that. I really wish that the hallway had walls from both sides. I think that would have made it even better. I guess one thing to say is that it may look good in pictures, though as far as displaying this as you see it here, it might not look as great as you'd hope. To begin our minifigure selection, on the side of the Rebels, we have Captain Antilles, who features brand new prints for the torso as well as the facial expression. I'm pretty sure the last time we saw his minifigure was in the last Tantive set back in 2019, so it's welcome to see him return 5 years later. Get the printing continued from the backside, and that classic Rebel helmet that was introduced way back in 2008. I should also say we get a double-sided facial expression, one with a calm look, and then from the backside something that much better depicts him being choked by Darth Vader, which it's really great to see that facial expression as well on this figure. In addition to Captain Antilles, we also get 2 Rebel Troopers to go alongside him. These are the same figures we saw introduced last year in the Yavin 4 Rebel base set. I would really like to get that and review it sometime. Torso prints and facial expressions new as of that set. Same helmet design we also saw for Captain Antilles, and a double-sided facial expression, which you'll see on the other figure on screen now. Like Captain Antilles, we get a calm look as well as a more distressed look. Another thing I should mention that some people have been complaining about when it comes to these figure designs is the lack of dual molded legs for the boots on them, which I think would have made these figures even better, especially considering that dual mold actually exists from a collectible minifigure series, though they actually produced those in a separate factory, which is probably why they didn't exist here yet, though they did actually end up recently within a direct-to-consumer set, so hopefully maybe when we see these guys return in October, we'll end up seeing them with the dual molded legs. Something to cross your fingers for, though knowing the LEGO Star Wars designers, they're just gonna keep it the same within that particular set. Next up, we have Darth Vader, the same figure introduced last year in 2023 for Return of the Jedi. We saw him in the TIE Bomber as well as the Death Star Duel, which I did actually do a review for. One really cool thing about this figure, arm prints returning yet again. Love that those are included on this figure. One thing that I've seen a lot of people complaining about when it comes to this figure's design, despite having some really cool arm printing and leg printing and torso printing, is the fact that the torso print isn't actually accurate to the source material, which I did go looking through some pictures of Darth Vader. It looks very, very similar, though it's very slightly different. Now, the LEGO Star Wars designers really love to try and get away with the bare minimum when it comes to minifigure designs, especially because they try to include so many figures in their sets. Even though it doesn't look like it, it really is the Disney tax at the end of the day that is really making this theme suffer. And you know, I'm gonna talk about it again when it comes to our anniversary figure, just some small issues that a lot of people are talking about, some people are overlooking, and at the end of the day it doesn't seem like anyone cares because they're still buying this, and heck, I even bought this with some of the problems that I have with this set, though of course to give a proper review on something you have to have it in hand. Now, I definitely think it would have been great to see LEGO introduce a brand new torso print for Darth Vader to represent that episode 4 look compared to how you see him in Return of the Jedi. I think it's something that they definitely could have done, but unfortunately I guess they overlooked it in this case. We do happen to get that same facial expression which was introduced for Return of the Jedi. It's fine, it works, it does its job. And you'll also see the printing from the back side for the back of the head, back printing for the torso. Very nice, soft felt cape, one of those 2-hole capes, which I really love when LEGO includes those as opposed to what they're calling the 1-hole cape. And the helmet design is the same one that was introduced back in 2015 for the figure, which works very well with the 2 pieces. Like how Captain Antilles gets his Rebel Troopers, Vader gets his 2 Stormtroopers, which are the same design on the outside, only featuring different facial expressions. This one, we get a common reused facial expression for LEGO Star Wars. And then the other one, a little bit more interesting, we get that facial expression which was introduced for Reva within the Kenobi series. I should also say neither of these are double-sided facial expressions, only the one. Speaking of the general design of these Stormtroopers, you get that white belt, which was a new design concept for these, which we also saw for the Clone Troopers, and the same helmet mold that was introduced 5 years ago for the 20th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, or at least back in January of 2019, where you get that more sloping look from the front, which a lot of people don't like because you can't turn the helmets anymore. Still not really sure how I feel about this helmet design, not being able to turn it, and just the way that it looks in general is just a little exaggerated. But as far as consistency when it comes to figures over the last few years, I don't think it's too bad. And finally, we have one of our favorite characters from the original trilogies, celebrating 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. We have Clone ARC Trooper 5s, which is an amazing figure. I think this is a really cool figure, though there are a few issues that I have with it, and I'm going to name those in order. So, number 1, the main issue that I have with this is the helmet print, and that is something that I think a lot of people can agree with as far as just the design. Looking at the source material for this character, the helmet print doesn't look as accurate as it probably could. I expect LEGO did their best when it came to designing the print for this, and as far as their printing capabilities now as of 2024, which I feel have really downgraded compared to the past. When you look at some past Clone Trooper designs when it comes to their prints and where they were able to print on the helmet, I'm not sure if this is due to this being a new helmet mold with those holes on the side, or if it's some sort of new machine that's making it so they can't print fully on the helmet like they used to. I guess it could also be that when they used to print on the helmet the way that they used to for those clones, that there could have been more issues when it came to misprints, and they're trying to avoid that in this case. But still, I just think that the helmet design as a whole, just that top part in general, is really the biggest issue on this figure out of everything. Next thing I have to talk about as an issue is consistency. Now, yes, this is consistent with another clone minifigure we saw at the end of last year, Captain Rex, where we see arm printing on this figure, 2 unique arm prints, which I think is fantastic. I'd love to see more of this on clone minifigures in the future, especially some of the more named characters, but as far as consistency goes when it comes to other clones, this and Captain Rex are currently the only ones to have arm printing, which is really frustrating. I just think that this figure could have done without arm printing. I know people are going to hate me saying that because arm printing is really what I think makes this figure really stand out. But as far as LEGO talking about consistency, this is really where it falls apart, those arm prints being included on this figure. And that brings us to everything else that everyone loves to talk about, and that is the waist cape, not printing it on the side, which I don't mind them not printing it on the side because then it would look very awkward from the back side of the figure. I really wish that they could have just included a waist cape, just an actual cape piece with this figure, and I think everyone can agree with that. As this figure doesn't have to sit in a vehicle in the set, it's meant to look pretty on a little display stand. Really nothing we can do with that, but talking about consistency again, this is really the part where it is most consistent with other Clone Trooper designs, which I hate to say that. When it comes to the torso design, I really love the printing on that. Even get back printing, which is all covered up by this backpack design, which uses 3 pieces to build that up. One part of this figure lots of people have been complaining about is the neck cape, which does have an exclusive print and an exclusive shape for this particular character, but it just doesn't cover up as completely as I think most people would have liked, and it also just doesn't look right on the figure. I wish that it could rest a little bit better on the character. Maybe if they used something similar to the style that we have for Darth Vader's cape, it would work, just because this cape flows a lot better than this one, because this is using a much different type of material for it. How would they be able to fix that? I'm not really sure, though. I think it's the least of our worries. I think definitely the biggest issue with this figure is the printing on the helmet more than everything else. Everything else about this figure I think is amazing. I love the arm prints. Arm prints are fantastic on this figure, despite not going with pretty much anything else that we saw before this other than Captain Rex. Waist cape, I don't mind it not being included. It's consistent with other figure designs. That's really at the end of the day what I want. I want consistency. Now, finishing up on this figure's design, I have to talk about the facial expression using the same flesh tone introduced in 2019 for the clones. I think it works very well, looks like the character, perfect, nothing to complain about there. Now, alongside this minifigure, we also get a small display stand to celebrate 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. This is the same exact print that you're also going to see for the 5 other anniversary figures spread across other sets. Quick picture on screen now of the current rumors of these remaining anniversary figures. We did also get one within a book, which actually already came out as of the time of me recording this. Unfortunately, that one doesn't really count, and it also doesn't follow the same pattern that we have for these anniversary figures, which are just random, because I guess LEGO doesn't think that these would fit in a normal set. They just throw them, plop them in randomly in, say, an original trilogy set in this case for this Clone Trooper, which I just don't think makes sense. People are going to buy this for the Clone Trooper, people are going to buy this for the original trilogy set, and then there's those of us like me who are buying this for both. But as I said, this display print should be the same on all of the anniversary figures aside from the book one, and you should be able to connect these up just like the 20th anniversary figures, which I will be doing new videos on all the 20th anniversary sets sometime soon, so you guys can look forward to that as well on the channel. With our minifigure selection out of the way, it's time to take a look at the Tantive IV Hallway. After that one Dark Trooper Hallway set, I think this is a really welcome set to exist. And I do have to say it does feel worth the price point when you look at this set alongside the minifigures, which is something that I always look for when it comes to LEGO Star Wars sets. First things first, plenty of studded room to place your minifigures in this set. I love it. Another thing you may notice from the bottom front are these little Technic pieces. Now, when you move these Technic pieces, it'll trigger a function where your stormtroopers can knock out one of your rebel troopers. Now, the same thing can be said from this side. It really is simple and works to great effect to make this a really good playset. Another scene that can be created on the floor thanks to LEGO including this circular 1x1 tube piece in trans clear is Darth Vader force choking Captain Antilles to try and figure out where the Death Star plans are that Leia's hiding over there in the corner. I think it's really amazing that they were able to include that as a reference, though also definitely one of the darker things included in a LEGO playset. Last two things when it comes to the floor design, this first one is a really major question that definitely needs an answer, and that is LEGO included this 2x3 plate piece in pink in this set. Now the big question, did the LEGO designers get a full cake like they did when they got a 2x4 brick within the Venator, or did they have a smaller cake than that?
Whenever we manage to include a pink brick in one of our sets, we get cake.
I really would love to know the answer to that question. If any LEGO designers end up watching this video, please comment below or send me a direct message over Instagram or something like that. I would really love to know the answer, and of course, if I do get an answer, I will make sure to share it with y'all. And now the other thing, which I pretty much already talked about when it came to the instructions for this set, is the fact that we do get a Technic connection down here that allows you to connect this to another copy of this set, which I think is really cool that you're able to do that, though also it's just, they don't look very nice on display when displaying this like that and then having the other one from the other side. I really wish that the walls were fully enclosed for this, or that you were able to build this in the opposite way just so then you can continue it from that side and, you know, mirror this set, not make it so then you have this wall facing like that. I just think that would look ugly. Onto the walls, we get some sticker details and some tiling off. I really love how smooth it looks, especially using some of the slope pieces from the bottom, and these bigger tile pieces are really great to get in that color. I also have to say the doors look amazing. I really love the building techniques for those, especially when it comes to the one at the very end of the hallway, which does happen to include a brand new and exclusive print for the door on a wall element piece. That was the biggest surprise I've ever had when building a LEGO Star Wars set. I was like, I was not expecting to see that be a print. I was expecting it to be a sticker, though it's an actual printed piece. Spinning to the back side, we have all of the ugliness, and you can also see the Technic feature, which will trigger the function for the door, which is really cool that they were able to include a function like this. Now, how this works is we have this lever over here, which you can push down, and this will open up the door. And as you can see, we have some translucent red and orange, and this is to represent Darth Vader cutting open the door with his lightsaber. I think that's really cool that they were able to include that as a reference. Can see how that works also from the side over here. We're going to push it right back, and pulling down that lever, it moves all of these Technic pieces in order to create that opening from that side. And I'm going to push it right back in yet again, just so that you can see how that door looks from this angle. And I definitely think just looking at this build from this angle, it looks so cool, and probably put some minifigures in there, looks even better. So overall, for $55, is this set worth it? Well, I definitely think so. Minifigure selection alone, getting 7 minifigures in a $55 set, that's something that we don't see very often from LEGO Star Wars, and I definitely think this minifigure selection is amazing despite some minor flaws. I also really love, as far as army building, you get 2 rebel troopers and 2 stormtroopers in this set, and I just think the build in general, as far as just a single display piece, works very well. The minifigure selection and build that you get really does feel worth the price, and I'm really happy about that. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this set. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!